Hello, please. This the Power Query course in Excel. So in Power Query, we've learned that we use Power Query to load and transform data in Excel. And in importing data or loading data, we are going to learn how to load data from Excel itself, a CSV file, which is comma separated values, a text, a web that is from the internet called web scraping. I think we've already done this before, but we are going to repeat it again so everyone will be able to perfect his or her skill from here, and how to load a file or how to load PDF into Excel, right? And we are going to look more on data types. This part is very important to us because the data types knowledge or domain knowledge runs through all data science courses or materials, or anything you do in data science or data analytics, you must understand data types. The string, which is qualitative data, the int or the integer, which could be negative or positive numbers, which is quantitative, the float, which is decimal numbers or decimal values, and Boolean, which is true or false values. So quick enough. Now, having learned what a Power Query is, we said to get the Power Query or to find the Power Query function, we come to the data. And from the data, you look for the get data option over here. And here, what we are going to do to exploit what we see over here. So we see this here, select from far. So when you come to select from far, if you want to load a data from Excel sheet or Excel workbook, from CSV or a test, we are not going to use the XML over here at the moment. JSON going forward, we will learn more about JSON files, but we are going to also import data from CSV. We are not going to use SharePoint at the moment because we are not using Microsoft 365. And most of you do not have access to Microsoft 365. So you don't have access to SharePoint, right? Or a folder. So we can also import data from databases, right? So from databases, either is SQL. Now we are going to learn SQL, and after learning SQL, we are going to learn how to connect SQL or SQL with with Python, and then we can also import data from these platforms. So now the second thing we are going to look at, not from the online services here, you come to from other sources. So the first we are going to exploit from files and from other sources. And from other sources, we are going to learn how to scrap a data from the web or load a data from the internet. So first, let's look at how to load the data from Excel sheet, right? So now we come to our data. So this, you come to Power Query. So you locate where your data set is, right? That is what we call file directory. So we are picking any of the Excel sheets over here. So I'm picking this as an Excel sheet. So click import, go to get data, you select Excel, you go and pick the data, you click import, you wait for your Power Query to function, right? So we've already stated that if you're using anything less than 2016 or 13, let us know. So we'll guide you how to use, how to reinstall the Power Query add-in, right? So over here, when you open it like this fresh, it is going to give you something like this. So it will give you if it is a data, you will see if your data has a table, you will see something like this in a table from nicely. But if not, and it's only a sheet without a table, or if the data doesn't have a table, you will see an empty file over here. It will still work for you. But in this case, we have a table, and we only have one table in this file, right? So you can just select on this one, and it will give you a display over here, right? If the tables would have been more than one, click on select multiple files, and now you can select more than one table. But in this case, we are looking at just one file. The icon you see here is what we use to refresh the page. So this, if we import this and we go back to where we selected the data, right, which is this file. When we open this file, and update it, because it is in use over here, we update it and you refresh it here, this Power Query will connect to the data source and update it for you, right? Now we are going to learn how to load the data into the SL without using the Power Query, right? If you want to load the data, well, you don't go to load to because of the complications associated with it, right? If you want to load anything, then you wait for another pop-up, right? So when another pop-up comes, you wait some more, depending on how slow or weak your operating system is, it will come. You just have to exercise patience. Some of the data will give you, may not give you a table, will give you only create connection. Please, we want to convert your data into a table. So come to table, right? Most of the time, you have to open the Excel app and open a sheet before you start importing the data, right, or loading the data. Now, if you want to take your data to a different sheet, like maybe this sheet or the other, to open a new sheet for you, you come to new sheet. But in this case, since we only have one table, we want it to be in the existing sheet, right? We want it to be here. So you come to existing sheet, right? Now you just leave this one like that. Now, if we want to manipulate our data, like we did for pivot table, you add the data model. So you can be able to have access to the root of your data, right? So now you add your data model, then boom. So this will load for you over here. This will load for you over here. You wait, depending on how fast or weak your operating system is, right? So you could see that this one has given me what is in the data over here, right? And there are so many columns, so many empty columns over here, right? So you could see that where I ordered my data to be, I found it here, right? As simple as that. So this data model will give me an access to a Power Query, right? So anytime I want to change anything in my data, especially data types, because we've already covered data types in the previous video, right? If I want to change anything in this one will help me, right? This is going to help me to do that. But we are not going to look at how to use Power Query now. We are going to look at how to import data into Excel. Then we look at how to access Power Query. So now, having imported this into Power Query, or having accessed the data model over here, this is the data model, right? So if I want to change anything now, I'll not change it directly from the Excel like we did in normal Excel. I'll just come and click on this twice, and it will give me the Power Query editor. So over here, I can edit my data, I can clean my data, I can transform my data as I want it, right? So, okay, now over here, if I want to split anything, I'll not go by the normal SL way, right? So I'll come here and okay, I said, okay, split column. Split column. Then by delimiter. So split by this indication, right? So I want to split by this indication. All right, so now my data has been divided as I want it, right? But that's not what we are doing now. We are looking at just loading the data. Okay, so now let's go and pick another sheet. Now we want to learn how to import a CSV, right? So now this Excel, we want to import a CSV. So you come to data, you come to data, you come to get data, you come to file, you come to CSV, right? Comma separated value. So this is a CSV file, right? So now in importing a CSV, it comes with some challenges, right? But we are going to learn how to work on that. So always make sure that you have this over here. you have this over here to guide you, because this delimiter, right, delimiter over here. So it will ask you sometimes by default, it can go to maybe a space, of which it is going to give you an error because you are importing a CSV file, and CSV means comma separated values. So whenever you are importing a CSV, make sure that your delimiter here, the middle here, it is giving you a comma, right? A comma like this, which will give you a perfect input. So let's wait. Okay, so this is how our data is going to be. Now we are not going to transform our data. We are just going to load our data. In case your data is clean and you don't want to transform, you don't want to clean it further, right? You come to load and you come to load to. Always make sure you load to, right? Don't load it directly. Now I want to load it as a table. I want to take it to a new sheet, right? And I want to either I need it as I want to take it to existing sheet, right? So in this case, let's take to a new sheet, right? Now add the data model. If only you want to manipulate your data, because always if you're importing anything to into Power Query, that you can go to Power Query, edit, transform at any point in time as an analyst, you make sure you add a data model. But if you don't want to do any further cleaning, further transformation, you can ignore the data model, right? But it is always important to add your data model if only you want to transform your data over time, right? So you can see that we were at sheet 3, but they are taking us to a different sheet, right? So this is our data. So if we want to change anything over, if we want to transform our data, if we want to clean our data, then we can double click on this one, and it will open the Power Query editor for us, right? So any transformation, any cleaning we want to do, especially changing data types, right? You could see that this is yes, indeed. The data type is here. So the data type, this is the data type, this is the data type. So the whole number here is an int data type. The currency is a number, is an int data type. So when we come to text is a string data type. When we come to time is a date time, date. So this date time column, right? Date time. Percentages is percentages could be either Boolean when it is in decimals or whole numbers, which is int, right? So now we want to separate the forestry from the agriculture, forestry, and fishing. So we want agri to be in one column, forestry and fishing to be in another column. I can just come and highlight on this entire row, and I'll come to split, right? So I'll come to split. So I want to split by delimiter. What delimiter do I want to separate my column with, right? I want to separate my column from the from each occurrence, right, of this one. But when I come here, I don't have that sign over here, right? So I'll come to this. I'll come to by delimiter. So left delimiter, no. So I don't want to separate by space. I want to separate by comma, right? By the comma. So by the comma, I'll click on enter. So because I separated by a comma, now I have agriculture here and I have the, so I can indicate this industry, right? Sector. I can indicate this sector, right? And I can leave this as industry name or something like that, right? If I so want it to be like this. So this is how to import a CSV file to same as Excel. So if you finish, and if you are done with your query editor, and if you want to come back, or if you want to cancel anything, you just come here, right? Come to this box and click on this red sign. And now what the change you did will go back, right? Will go back because you don't want to split the column again. Just come and do this over here, right? Just click on this. Any change you do will go back to default. And if you are done with your transformation, you just come here, you close and you load it, right? You close and you load it, and it will take effect here. So now let me try one. So we'll close and load and we'll see the effect, right? But we are going to look at fully into using Power Query, right? But we are just looking at how to load the data into Power Query and back and down to Excel. So now I want to separate by a delimiter. What delimiter? We are talking about the sign you want it to be as a mark of separation, right? So I want to separate them using the comma because I only see agric and comma, forestry and fishing. So agric should be a standalone and fishing should be here. So I want to rename this as sector, right? As sector. Then when I'm done, I come to close and load. Now, let's come and see. Now it is loading. You can see my cursor is loading, right? So you wait for a while. Pass is loading over here, right? So Power Query is very important and effective in data analysis. When you are done, I want us to see it over here. Okay, so I'm coming. Where is it? So this is the sector, right? So the sector has been separated from industry name, right? So the industry name now, because this one is taking effect using it has been messed up, right? It didn't start with the agriculture as it gave us. So this is the agriculture, right? So you can see that when you scroll down. So if we want to sort, then we can say sort from Z to A to Z to A. No, A to Z. So it can sort in order for us to understand how. Okay, so when we come here, we definitely see the agriculture somewhere here, right? So you can see the agriculture and forestry and fishing. So this sector was accommodation and finance. We had 0 over here, nothing, empty cell, right? Okay. So now let's come to another. We are going to import a test. So we come to data, you come to get, you come to file, you come to test. So we use the same CSV function to, because some of the data, higher institutions also use test to generate or to gather their data, right? So it may be likely you may be working with a company or you'll be given a project where you will be given a test, right? And you have to understand that test comes with your tab separated values. So always make sure your test file is at the what tab using a tab delimiter. Now we are not going to transform at the moment. We are only going to load. So you come to, don't load it directly. Load to, right? Always load to. So when you load to, we are loading it to this same sheet, right? So now we know when to load into existing sheet and when not to load into existing sheet. Make sure you convert into a table. So when it is over here or here, we don't need it as to create a connection, right? We want to the connection will take effect at the model, so you don't have an issue. You wait as it loads, right? You wait as it loads. So now you have your test file over here. So if you want to access a Power Query editor at any point in time, if you want to change anything, if you want to add anything, please don't do it directly in Excel like we do previously, because now you are not just a mere data analyst, right? You want to be a professional data analyst. So let's try and use Power Query at any point. Click on it and it will open what we call Power Query Editor. Editor is an advanced add-in in Excel that we use to load and transform data. Transforming, you clean, you add, you subtract, you minus everything, right? So in this case, this is my data and I want to do some transformation. I'll come to remove rows, remove rows. So I said, okay, I want to remove my third rows. Please, we are not doing transformation here, right? But I just want you to understand how it works. You can explore alongside, but we are going to do a thorough training over here. So I can see 1, 2, 3, 4. They are just empty cells that are not doing anything. So okay, I said remove the top 4 rows. So boom, and now you can see everything is cleared, right? So I have transformed this, and if I come here, you can see this is a date, but I'm seeing sort of ABC. ABC here means this data is a data type. This data type means this is a text, right, which is a string. So if I'm to do analysis on this, looking at time series analysis, it is going to affect this. So I need to highlight this. I need to highlight this, come to the text, come to a data type, right, and take it from text to time. To time, right? To time. Now, when I come here, this is a date column, but this date column is giving me what? A test. So this is a test of which it is going to affect any analysis using date and time or using the date column, right? So remove it from test to date, right? To date. So you are getting errors over here, right? Because of how it was. So now you come back here. Let's take it to date time, right? So replace this. We are only trying to manipulate the, so now you could see this one is giving us the date time. The date time will give us the date this one was gathered, right? There's that date it was gathered. And this one is giving us time because there was no time attached. That's why it is giving us a unique time, that same time, 12 p.m., 12 p.m. So now we remove this. So we had our previous. So in this case, this format, this date format is giving us an error, right? So we can choose to split. We can choose to split this. You can choose to split this by delimiter using this. You can delete this, right, and write any delimiter there, right? The number you want to split. But in this case, we want to use this sign. We don't call it sign, right? In data science, we call them delimiters, right? So we are splitting using this. So now it's going to give us 3. So this 3 is going to be the day, right? So you can see I have my day. No, this is the month. This is the month because 18 cannot be a day. This month, this is the day, this is the day, and this is the year. This is the year. Because often if you are doing time series analysis, we look at the month and the year, right? We don't normally use the day, but there are instances we use the day. So if you split your date in, like this, then you know that, okay, this month, this day, this year, right? So now we got the right format over here, right? This int, and we see 1, 2, 3 here, int 1, 2, 3, int 1, 2, 3, right? So if I want this transformation to take effect, I'll come to load, close and load, and click on this one. Boom, right? It is going to process, right? It is going to process over here. It is going to process over here and take effect. Boom, we have everything over here. My month, my day, my year. So I can do any transformation over here, right? So now you can see that we've loaded 1, 2, 3 tables into one Excel sheet. So anytime I want to do analysis, so let me delete this. This was the sheet we skipped, right? So now if I want to do analysis over here, now I have my table here. I'll just come, double click on this one. It will give me my Power Query editor. And now I can transform, get back. So this is a way of avoiding so many Excel sheets for your company, right? You just mount everything into one Excel book, and you have your sheet in your Excel as one. So if I'm to save this file, I'm going to get all these tables in this for my company, right? For my company. So now, anytime I want to change anything, I'll just come and use my Power Query editor to do that, right? So now let's go and load a PDF. Come to File, come to PDF, right? So now you just click on your PDF, you click Import. So please, if you have a PDF, you can transform the PDF into Excel, right? When it's in a table. So if you have any data in a table, in a PDF, you can import it into Excel neatly, perfectly. So you can see that here you have an evidence of a sheet and a table. So now let's look at the table one and let's look at page 001, right? The same thing, right? But this is in a table, and always we are looking, if you don't have a table in your data, that's when you can use your sheet. You load or you use the Power Query editor direct, but now we are only loading our tables, right? We are looking at tables. So what we do is to select our table, because I said if you want to select multiple tables, click here, right? But in this case, we are going to use just two tables, right? We are going to use just two tables. So over here, now we have this column. So this column over here, down to column 7. Let me come here to GSA, to this. So we are only going to load two tables. So you come to load 2 and you wait. This is when the complication comes, but it's not an issue. So whenever you are loading from a PDF or from more than 2 tables into query, it will give you this. It will take it from the table to this setting. Please come to table, right? And sometimes this existing sheet will be deactivated since the tables are many, right? All the tables would skip the current sheet, right? So don't worry, add your model, because we want to transform, right? We want to transform the data. That's why you must always add your model. So you wait. Okay, so now you see your PDF neatly over here. So this is the first one, and this is the second one, right? So the first one, so let me say first PDF. So PDF 1 and PDF 2. All right, so let me come to PDF 1. Let me come to PDF 1, right? So I will just come here, double click it, and I have my query, Power Query editor over here. So if I want to transform anything over here, right? If I want to transform, so now you can see all our tables over here. So any table we want to work with, we can just come and click on it and edit. Any table we can just come and edit. Any table we can just come and edit in one Excel sheet. But now we are just looking at table 1 for our PDF, right? So our PDF, okay, I see this part, this number is not necessary. So I want to delete everything, right? I'll just right click and remove the entire column, right? So here I will load back. I'll load it back and let's see what happens. So it is loading, right? You see my, okay, table 1 is loading. You wait, don't touch anything. Wait, boom. All right, so you can see the first column is gone, right? So now let's look at finally how to import data from the web, called web scraping. We use the same data over here. We come to get, and we come to other sources, from other sources, right? So we are going to load from web. So from web, that's from the internet. So we are going to give an assignment on this place. Please don't take it to advanced, right? Take it to basic. As a beginner, come to the internet and look for any link you would want to pull a data from, right? In this case, let me try and pull a data from world population over here. So we are going to look at countries in the world by population, right? 2024. So just copy the link, right? Copy the link. Please, provided there is a table you want to use, please do so. So this world population, I copy everything. I come to my Excel. Now I've already gone for my get data from the data tab, and then URL over here, paste, boom. Now I click on OK. So on the OK, it will give me this, right? Please don't use any of this. Use the anonymous and come to connect. Now, depending on how fast your internet is, your internet speed is, it is going to run run, and give us another option to transform our data. So we wait for the URL, and sometimes depending on how heavy the data in the link is, right, it will determine the longevity of how it processes. So you wait small. Now there's it. So in this case, we can see table 1, table 2, right? HTML code and display text. So you can click on them and look at how they look like. You can come to display. So this is just a test. So we are interested in the tables, right? If you want to select multiple tables, let's look at what table 1 is. And now this is table 1. Table 1 is giving us what we need, right? Table 1 is giving us what we need. Let's look at table 2, what it means. So table 2 is also giving us the countries and the same thing, right? But we are only interested in table 1. So we are only going for table 1. So you just highlight 1, right? Or you can deselect this one, select table 1 only. You come to load. Now we are not going to transform. We are just loading, right? So you load, you wait. Right now, this is giving us, yes. No, take me to the existing sheet. Don't take me to new sheet because it's just one. Add a data model so I can have access to my pivot query editor. Sorry. So now with the query editor, you wait small as it loads into your Excel. Plus, it also generates a button or a connection to the Power Query editor. So in this case, whenever we want to refresh our data or whenever there's an update from this web, let's see the word wedometer, right? So from wedometer, when there is an update, now we will only come to refresh, right? We only come to refresh our data, and it will work for us over here, right? Boom. So now, oh, it is refreshing. No, don't take long, please. I need more time to complete this. Oh, hurry. Stop. So this will create a connection to the data source and update the data. So you can see that now, I think now India is leading the world population because Russia's China's population has declined by negative 0.0002, right? Which is net change of 215,985 with density of 37, right? So now, because many people, so this number of people that, okay, their migrant is negative, right? So now, if we want to change anything from this, if you want to further transform anything, now just double click on it. It will give you the query editor, and whatever we want to do, we can do from here. Maybe I'm not interested in this because I'm looking at my world population. I'm coming to look at which country has the largest population in the world. Now India is taking over, or India has taken over, right? If I want to change anything over here, and just double click and come to country. I don't want this. Okay, I want peace. I don't want problem. So population, this is 22. So don't, if I don't want this, right, I'll just use this 2023 population, right? Because 2024 population is not yet updated, right? 2023 population, right, of the world. And now, if I come to the yearly change, net change, if I want to change anything, I can do so in the query editor. We are going to look at that, so don't worry, right? So don't worry. If I think I am okay with it, I'll come to close and load. And now let's see how it goes. How it goes. So please, this video has covered your understanding from the models knowledge to a practical form of how to import data and the data types. So we are going to use this to teach the data types very well, right? So if we use this data, the country column over here is the string data type. The 2023 population here is an int data type. The negative over here, since the negative here is giving us indication of decimals, it is called a float data type. Here we are having some decimals, negative and positive over here. Since there is no decimal in the next chain, it is called int data type, just as column B. Now density is int data type, and we can come, and this too is an int data type. So now since we have a percentage here, we can remove the percentage over here, right? By going to your query editor and do so. So we are going to look at that. So now we don't have a Boolean which is true or false over here, right? A Boolean which is true or false over here. So this is it. Thank you. Watch the video to cover up. If you have any question, any issue, you let me know. Bye-bye.